Kelly's sitting here. Kelly's sitting.
I can go home. I'll sacrifice my seat.
I got down.
Deborah, you can hear me, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you muted? Okay. Now I want to make sure I get it. Yes, I can.
Sunday before last.
You just hang tight.
Sunday over there. Got a bunch of stuff. Brought back down. Or borrowed my brought down. Go back up.
Why is it not connected? I'm talking to the speaker.
And luckily, it doesn't seem like
I got him. Just use him.
And like a bed or bed top
Yeah, something happened there.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Did you get that flight time?
All right, Deborah, say hello. Ah, perfect. I got the speaker working. Great.
So it doesn't have the same.
Is there a delay? Is there a delay? No. No, I think we're okay. No, I think we're good.
Yeah.
The young one from my school is still like going on, but like the corner
You okay?
What I need to
Yep, we are going.
How are we on time?
Yep,
You just tell me, is it 5:15?
yep, it sure is.
All right. All right, Mayor Cotterill is joining us by Zoom. Mayor, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, go right ahead.
I'd like to call the Maysville Board of Commissioners Thursday, April the 13th to order. Please stand as several votes for the invitation.
Oh, sorry, it's Tony. I'm sorry, I saw both of you. Go ahead, Tony.
Gracious Father, we come before you. We pause for a moment to give our respect to the lives that were lost earlier this week. Father, we also thank you for the courageous individuals. They run to danger and risk their lives to save others. Father, we thank you for this great community. We thank you for this great state and this great nation. We do ask your blessings upon all of our elected and appointed officials. We ask your blessings upon our time here this evening. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Thanks for that invitation. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood,
Here.
Commissioner McKay,
Here.
Mayor Cotterill,
Yes, ma'am.
City Manager Wallingford,
Here.
City Attorney Cottle,
Here.
Controller Stanfield,
Here.
HR Director Rose,
Here.
Project Coordinator Horde,
Here.
Public Works Director Truesdale,
Here.
Police Chief Palmer,
Here.
Fire Chief Doyle, Utility Manager Julian,
Here.
Planning and Zoning Administrator Larger,
Here.
Building Inspector Fawcett,
Here.
Codes Officer Brooks,
Here.
Tourism Director Bailey,
Here.
Main Street Director Reese.
Here.
Thank you. Minutes of the March 9th, 23 and April 10th meeting for department report.
I move to accept.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. And I would ask that everybody speak up so that I can hear you. I have good news, my hearing aids are ordered. Public announcement,
Do I have any? Public announcements? Mayor, I don't believe we have any.
thank you, Matt. Public comment,
Mayor, I do know that I have some folks here advocating for some improvements to our skate park. And I'd like to ask Caleb, whoever you have here with you, if you could come up a little bit or towards the table so we can get you on the mic right here. David and I met with Caleb and some other gentlemen down at the park a few days ago. And we also met a couple weeks ago to look over some designs. That equipment is almost 20 years old. But you guys tell me the equipment for the most part isn't too bad.
Yes.
You guys are just looking for some upgrades. So
Yeah.
if you want to kind of tell them what you're thinking about, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, getting some new obstacles and cleaning up the park, making it look fresh, just getting it nice and stuff.
Matt,
So
I
you-
can't hear them.
So you talked about some lighting,
Yeah.
fixing the pad that is to the west of the current pad.
Yeah.
And then maybe some new street style obstacles to put in there.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do with you all as we get into the budget season is to see if you all would be willing to allocate some money to that park, because we haven't put anything in it since 2004, I believe. Not a dime. Yeah, that's when we had it done down behind the library. Yeah. Yeah, it's been almost 20 years.
It looks like it's something David and I talked about, new lighting at the new park. We talked about
Right.
solar, because it's dark. Kind of
Yeah. And I think Chief Palmer would probably agree to some lighting down at both those parks. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I've been working with these guys, and I want them to they're showing me what they like, and I'll work on getting some cost estimates, and then I'll come to you at budget time and let you know what we're looking at, if that's all right.
That's fine with me.
Caleb, anything else you can think of that?
I appreciate all the help and everything.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
it means a lot for real.
I'll keep you in the loop, and I'll keep working with them
All right.
to see what we can get done. Okay.
Sounds good.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah,
The
appreciate it.
artwork stays, right?
Unless you want to go down and remove it.
No.
Okay, then it'll stay. We'll keep it then. Okay, we'll keep it. We will keep it.
I like the art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll keep it.
Graffiti's art form.
Absolutely it is.
It makes it pop out.
Absolutely it is. Guys, we appreciate it. Thank you for coming.
Appreciate y'all.
Okay, I'll keep you in the loop, okay?
Yep.
Thank you, Matt.
And Mayor, I don't know if we have a full audience here tonight, so is there any other public comment? I'll help you out here a little bit. Mayor, I don't believe so. You can move on.
Okay, thank you. Appointments, police department.
I have two memos here. I am from Chief Palmer. I'm preparing this document to request the appointment of Weston Riggs as a probationary officer with the Maysville Police Department. Mr. Riggs has completed the hiring process locally and with the Department of Criminal Justice Training, meeting the POPS standards set forth by the Kentucky Law Enforcement Council. Weston is eager to enter the field of law enforcement. He is a native of Mason County, graduating from Mason County High School in 2018. Weston has received a Bachelor of Arts from Morehead State University in 2022. His major, criminology and criminal justice. Weston has shown a strong sense of character and work ethic through the hiring process, and I feel he will be a good addition to our department. And I'm preparing this document to request the appointment of Sean D. Crump as probationary officer with the Maysville Police Department. Mr. Crump has completed the hiring process locally and with the Department of Criminal Justice Training, meeting the POPS standards set forth by the Kentucky Law Enforcement Council. Sean is eager to enter the field of law enforcement. He is a native of Lewis County and currently resides in Mason County. Sean graduated from Lewis County High School in 2013. Sean served 5 years in the Kentucky Army National Guard and was honorably discharged on November 7th, 2018. Sean has shown a strong sense of character and work ethic through the hiring process, and I feel he will be a good addition to our department.
I'm pleased to make that motion.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Yes, Victor did.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Absolutely.
Commissioner Cartmel?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, would you like to,
Discussion?
Mayor, would you like to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves?
Absolutely,
All right,
thank you.
gentlemen, would you like to introduce yourselves to everybody?
Hey guys, I just want to say that I'm grateful for the opportunity that's been presented to me. I want to thank Major Conlon, Chief Michael Paul for expediting the process as fast as they could. It's a long process and I still have quite a ways to go. But this is a pretty big milestone for me personally, and I want to thank everybody here for the consideration. I don't really have a lot to say, but I do want to say, let you guys know my goals going forward is really just to lean on the veteran officers as best I can and consume all the knowledge and experience I can prior to attending the police academy in Richmond, Kentucky. And ultimately, the goal is to graduate that police academy and come back to the city a good and competent officer. Thank you.
Great.
Hey, so I'm Sean Crump. He's gonna outbeat me in this. I just want to say thank you all for allowing me this opportunity to serve the city of Maysville. It's been a dream of mine since I was about 14 years old. Thank you all.
We're glad to have you. Thank you. Chief, is there anything would you like to say?
Again, I want to thank the commission for allowing me to bring these two gentlemen to you. You know how long the process is. It is a very long and stringent process to get a candidate through phase 1, phase 2 testing and a whole 9 yards. So I look forward to educating these young men and getting them out of the academy as soon as possible. Right now, I can't even get them in until September, first week of September. So they'll be with us, which is a good thing, and get some stuff in line. So thank you again very much for allowing me to do that.
Right, you're up.
Thank you, Chief. Yeah. What? Can she see me? Oh, there we go. That might help. That might help you. We're gonna wait just a second and let them clear out. Okay. I'm sorry. They were up and okay. Now you can move. Thank you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm teasing.
Get it?
I'm
You're picking
teasing
up what
you.
he's putting down?
I'm teasing you. All right, Mayor, we can start back up.
Okay, thank you. Discussion, water and sewer tap fees.
So Penny brought to my attention a couple weeks ago. She has been looking into some of the, we got a lot of utility upgrades we need to make, and she was looking into the water and sewer tap rates that we charge. We can't cover our costs with the fees right now. Sewer is $440, hadn't been changed since 1998. Water is $900, that has not been changed since '09. And you want to elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, we just haven't changed the rates. I mean, with all the upgrades in the material costs and the labor costs, and we really just need to analyze it and try to cover our costs. So we have been doing looking into the cost, and it ranges, as there's not one that's exactly the same. Some take 4 hours, some might take an hour. But we've looked at costs, Mark's got together some things, and kind of want to look at updating that ordinance, if you all are open to that, to cover our costs.
And you have some possible, I'm sorry, Vic. The sewer is $440 right now.
Right, and it really needs to be about $900 to cover our costs.
So we wanted to bring this to the five of you to see if you were open to raising these fees, because if you are, then we'll work with Kelly to get an ordinance amendment drafted.
So what's the cost of water then?
900 up to.
Yeah, but what do you think?
I mean, on the water, I personally think we need to go about $1,100, 11 to 12. I've looked at other areas like Moorhead, some of the areas that are closer to our population size and what they're charging, and that would be comparable.
Can you clarify to those listening what we're actually talking about?
So this is if you are getting a new service, you're building a new home and you need a new water service to a new residence, or it didn't have water and you need water. So this will only be for new services when they're built, a new construction.
Are you all open to us presenting an ordinance to you next month?
We've got to cover our costs. I mean, if they haven't been updated, and we really need to get this
Just
updated.
goes with everything else.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Yes.
I know
Yeah.
people didn't hear that.
Yes.
They were going, what? What?
Yeah, will not affect anybody who has an existing structure or business or home. It's only new construction.
Good question. All right, well, we will have something for you next month. All right. Mayor, you can go on to the next one.
All right. Thank you. Discussion on budget meeting.
All right, I hope everybody has their calendars in front of them. We need to let's get rolling on this. And,
Everybody got the calendar?
yep, I think so. What I'd like to do, kind of similar to what we did last year, is maybe have a couple departments at a time and let them elaborate on what they talked to you about earlier in the week. And just go through it. We're not making any decisions. And then we'll come back at a later date. Let Penny put the numbers together on what the accumulation would be. And then we can determine what items we're going to keep, what items we might want to cut. So how's your calendar look? Penny, you're getting out of tax season. How's your calendar look?
I mean, other than next week.
Other than next week. So we're looking at, it'd be nice to start the week of April 24th. A certain time.
I'm okay Monday.
I'm okay other than, I won't be down.
Okay, so you're not in town on the 25th. Any other, all the other days work for you?
I should be.
Okay, so the week of the 24th right now, other than the 25th,
Let's do not Monday,
yeah.
coming back.
Sir, how about Wednesday the 26th? Any certain time?
Okay, I'm good.
I'm looking at you because you're a nine to fiver.
4:30.
You know.
Like you guys. I don't
What do you
wanna
like?
rush it.
No, I know. Well, we're not going to rush anything. No.
If it's just gonna be an hour, we could do lunch, but if we're just gonna come in here, if it's gonna be longer than that, for everybody to digest, then I can say no in an hour, or I can say no in an hour and a half, so.
What, an hour and a half? What I'd like to do is say bring in police and fire, and then bring in public works and engineering, then bring in utilities, maybe by itself.
Same day?
No, not. What I'm saying is like public safety on one day,
Okay.
and then engineering and public works on one day, and then utilities and general on another day. So I'd like to go on and schedule 3 if we could.
I'd like to have the automobile list by next week.
What are we lacking? I got you police. I got
I've
you.
gone through, Dennis and I met today.
We'll finish in the morning.
We'll finish in the morning.
And
I got Mark.
You got Mark. So
So
you
I
got.
have to schedule Mark.
Oh, that's
I
fine.
need the police. and the
That's in
fire.
your police is in your box.
Okay.
Administration is in your box.
Administration.
It's in your box. So you've got all of next week.
I'll be good. I've been working.
That's fine. That'd be good. Okay. So how about the 20th?
I'm okay.
Is it okay if we schedule them at say 11 o'clock
Yeah.
and go to like 12:30? Does that work okay for you?
I can work with
Is that okay?
And Nathan, because they both have good.
Well, would you?
It's fine, man.
Are you sure? I don't want to. Yeah, but I don't want you to have to do
Wednesday's
that.
fine. Wednesday is fine.
Okay. Andrew, David, Mayor, Wednesday the 26th at 11 a.m. How does that sound?
That's good. I can.
Deborah? Okay, you're good. So let's do one there.
Yes,
Okay.
I like to do them like 3 days in a row there.
Okay. What about the next day, the 27th? Is that an issue with anybody? I mean, we're gonna, well, I tell you what, let's do this. We're gonna have city commission meeting at 11 o'clock. Why don't we just roll into a budget session right there?
If we vote on
If you vote on it, sure. How would that sound?
it. I can do that.
Okay, all right, okay.
What time?
What time?
It's 11 a.m.
On the 27th?
Yeah. So we're looking at 11 a.m. on the 26th, 11 a.m. on the 27th.
Got 11 on the 28th is our looks. Did we look something?
No.
I had 11:15 on the 27th for some reason.
No, wait a minute, we're having city meeting at 11.
Right, but just roll into, we could have that as an item on the agenda and just,
27th.
yeah, and just discuss some there, since we're already gonna be here. Now, I know Caroline has a Main Street meeting on Friday, the 28th. How does May the 2nd,
Maybe hers can be on.
how does May the 2nd look? And we could, that's a Tuesday at 11 a.m. We could get a lot done in those 3 days. Andrew, you good?
I
David?
probably couldn't get there by 11, but I might get there by 12.
Okay, noon.
May the 22nd.
Noon on May the 2nd, is that?
You want to do Wednesday?
What about Wednesday, Deborah, at 11? Wednesday the 3rd.
That works.
City meeting.
Wednesday the,
On Wednesday?
Is that what-
yeah, would that be, would that, Andrew?
12 on.
No,
12 on-
11 on Wednesday the 3rd.
Yes.
David
I think that's good right now.
and Vic?
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right, let's shoot for that and
At 11?
at 11.
Is that for utilities, Matt?
We'll figure it out. I'll work with everybody to determine what schedule works best for everybody.
I just want to tell you about utilities. Darren and I have a conference the first week.
We'll work it out. We'll work it out. Don't worry about it. I'll get with everybody, see what schedule works best for them from a staff perspective. Okay, so
The 26th, 27th, and May 3rd.
you got it. 26th, 27th, and May the 3rd, 11 a.m. We'll use that as a starting point. Kenny, you good with all those? Okay. All right. Mayor, I think we can move on to the next item.
Thanks to everybody. Okay, thanks to everybody. Discussion on the street sweeper and schedule.
Okay, so Luke and Dennis have been working with Chief Palmer and particularly Assistant Chief Conley on the street sweeper schedule. And we found some discrepancies in what's actually in the ordinance and what we've been doing. Basically, different sides of the street are listed in the ordinance and we've been doing the other side. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, you've been given a petition from the residents of Deerfield Village who would like to be removed from the schedule. There's about 73 homes in Deerfield. So I need to know what you all want to do so that we can amend the ordinance. And let me pose this question too. Do you want to sweep the streets?
All
I
the street?
don't, you know my position.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to start on that again.
Okay.
I want a street sweep.
Okay.
With equipment that sweeps.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, it's my understanding that the street sweeper, and correct me if I'm wrong, but sweeping the streets is not just for aesthetics, but it's also for the storm sewer.
That's correct.
And there are traps.
That is correct.
that collect debris, that they're designed to collect debris.
Correct.
But if you don't sweep the streets, then the debris collects faster, and then we don't have traps, and then. it causes-
When I came back to the office from lunch yesterday, the north side of 2nd Street had been swept and it looked good. When I came back today, it still looked good, but you could tell where people had mowed and all their grass was out in the street. And that's what's going into your storm sewers.
Well, it's rocks and grass and
Sure.
dirt, whatever people,
Okay.
on Montgomery Parkway, they throw that grease down, the storm sewer after Pork Fest or whatever it's called.
Are you okay with taking Deerfield off? I mean, you've got a petition signed from a vast majority of the people. We've done this with other streets.
I'm all right.
What happens if our storm sewer is stuck up there and?
We've got flooding on the street.
So
Then what do you do? I mean, yeah, it's not, what do we do?
typically what has happened when we've had these requests in the past, Ann, is the requests have been, the residents have said, we'll take care of our section of the street. So, yeah, correct. So I'm hoping that the residents of Deerfield, if they are removed, will take care.
Can we make that a stipulation? We're willing to do
No.
this?
No. Can't.
But
Yeah, we can. Oh, absolutely, we can. Sure, we can. Absolutely, and it's a good neighborhood. Yeah, it's a great neighborhood. Good people. I mean, I think they will. So if you're okay with taking Deerfield off, what I would like to do is go on and suspend them from the schedule immediately, and then work with Kelly to get an ordinance drafted for May the 11th with all the changes that need to be made. They're just corrections. Go ahead.
One thing about Deerfield, just to keep in mind, a lot of basements flood. And with not sweeping, that could, I mean, we pay a lot of insurance claims from that and replacing people's carpet in basements, that could cause some problems.
You mean from
Good point.
us with the storm sewer?
If they
Yes.
clog and back up, that
Yes.
could be the case.
There's
Because what
lots
you
of
have,
basements
you've got driveways that angle down into basements up there.
Question.
We've
Yes.
had multiple
Could we
claims
do-
with
If we're going to
sweeping.
suspend that, could we use that time or periodically check the storm drain?
Oh, and we do, and we will.
No, I
We
mean,
will.
mostly when we take them off.
When we take them off, yeah, absolutely,
That's usually the thing.
absolutely. It should help, yeah. It should help. But I think the folks up there will do a pretty good job. It's a good neighborhood.
aren't our claims just between a couple of houses out there?
I know, I've seen several claims since I've been here.
Yeah.
Things against the city?
Yes.
Yeah,
With-
well,
with
we've
the-
had to put all new sewers in
When the water backs up in the
for
basement.
those houses, yeah.
But
You're talking
what
about
do you do
Deerfield.
there with insurance, Penny, if
In
they?
Deerfield,
Wait a minute, let Ann, go
oh,
ahead.
sorry.
No, what, Ann, ask your question, and then Mark, you can.
What do you do there with insurance if they've requested to not want
Yeah, I
the
don't know
service?
how that will,
That's a good point.
Are we exonerated from paying an insurance?
I think that would be in our favor not to pay it.
Well, I think it would be
Yeah.
too, but we are to find out if it's really,
I can ask Eric about that.
yeah, ask Eric about that.
All I was gonna say is that in Deerfield subdivision, for a gravity sewer, you have to have slope, like you have to have a downgrade, right? And in Deerfield, they're mostly level, there's not much grade. So that means if you've got any kind of debris or clogs in those sewer lines, you're gonna have basements back up, and that's gonna cause property damage.
But that's what I'm asking, if they have, if their name's on here,
What do you think
do
from
we
a,
pay that claim?
here's a good, let's ask our legal,
So-
our legal man here.
I mean, you could request maybe a waiver of liability where they're, but getting 70 people to sign a waiver saying that if my sewer backs up is probably not realistic and not practical.
Maybe it's the only ones that have the sloped driveway. Is that what you're saying, Mark?
Well,
That-
we've done storm sewer separation in Deerfield. So really, if we're talking about debris on the street, the sloped driveways, the storm sewers, as long as they're clear, they should go to the river. Right, they've been already separated. I was talking about the sanitary sewer that carries wastewater from homes in Deerfield.
So if Mark, if Dennis and Luke have somebody, up there keeping an eye on things and keeping them cleaned out, stormwater should not be an issue.
Yes.
I think that's the answer is if you discontinue sweeping the streets, then you have someone regularly checking the grates and the traps.
I don't have a problem with that. I have to protect one of my boats, the city, for flooding and insurance. But I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I'm just saying if you're not gonna sweep the streets, then somebody probably needs, in order for us to have a defense to backed up basements, we need to say, here's what we've done. Instead of sweeping the streets, we go up there and check, so we're not liable.
But we just don't wanna blow down in the side, but we don't wanna blow down the drains neither.
Right.
We don't wanna blow it off their yards and their driveways and then blow it down the storm drains. If there's a possibility they can pick it up, it would extremely help us a bunch because, you know, the manpower to go up there continuously lifting off all the catch basin lids and cleaning them out is a continuous thing that, you know.
Well, I've been through
We'll have to
driveway
monitor
and
it.
I don't see much trash. It would probably just be tree leaves and stuff, wouldn't it?
We'll monitor it. We'll keep an eye on the catch basins. I will reach out to the individual who reached out to me on the petition and let them know we respectfully ask that they keep the streets cleaned. If we're not going to,
And if it becomes a problem, it can be sent.
absolutely.
Put it back on.
Sure we can. Sure we can. So is everybody good with that?
Is this gonna be something that might be solved with a new street sweeper?
No. The issue there is parking.
I think you're on to something.
Well, no, the issue in Deerfield is parking. Is there's no parking. A lot of them don't have off-street parking. So everybody trying to pull to one side, or, you know, the other argument in the petition was, you know, we go on vacation,
And then it gets-
they can't move back and forth, and they don't have off-street parking, they're getting tickets.
Or they have to park in their yards too,
Correct.
or your driveway.
Mayor, do you have anything to add?
Okay?
Do you have anything to add to that?
Sure.
No? Okay. So have you guys given Kelly a copy of the ordinance and the changes that need to be made? No? Okay, well, we'll get with him on that. Okay. All right, I think we're good on that one.
Okay, discussion, skippers, restaurant, bar, and committee.
So some staff members and I have met with Mr. Gary Blanton, who is co-owner of Skipper's Restaurant and Bar, which is a floating restaurant and bar located just off the banks of the Ohio River in New Richmond. And Gary has would like to potentially move that to Maysville. And one of the things he would like to do is set up a committee with a couple of elected officials to discuss it. Because if we did decide to move forward with this, we would need to enter into a lease agreement because it's adjacent to property that we maintain down at the River Park. Gary, would you like to introduce yourself to the mayor and the city commissioners?
Yeah, I'm Gary Blanton. I'm one of the owners of Skippers. My partner would be here, but unfortunately he's working tonight. Currently, we've been there since 1979. We employ about 21 people in peak season. We're only open seasonally. Home to a lot of boaters, I'll just say that. Current problem we have right now is all the construction going on that side and the river going up and down as much as it does on that side of the dam causes a lot of damage to our boat. We should have been open April 1st. We're probably not going to open until the middle of next month. So it's hurting us pretty badly. I now live just up in Foster, Kentucky, and I'd like to bring it down here, but it's on the way to and from the islands. It's also before and after, depending on how you look at it, of the Ripley Boat Club. We can seat about 200 people. We're a full-service restaurant, and we got currently about 1,000 feet of dock. I do not want to bring 1,000 feet of dock because I do not want to maintain it anymore. I can bring some dock. We currently sell gasoline. I don't want to do it in the future because I don't want to deal with the EPA, but I understand the city might be interested in that, and then we can pay somebody to pump the gas and figure out that agreement. What I want to do is I want to work with the community. I don't want to come in here and say, this is what I have to have. I want to work with what's best for Maysville, what's best for us, and come up to an agreement, and then take that forward. I'm not somebody that likes to ramrod it through. Personally, I got 4 grandkids in Ohio. I'm a combat Army veteran, and I'm new to this area, but I'm meeting a whole lot of people, and you look really familiar to me and told her when I came in, and I'm not sure why.
I used to have a ferry in Augusta.
You've been down in Augusta? It's probably why I've seen you. But anybody's got any questions, I'd love to entertain them. I got my business cards and mask up my information too.
Mayor, what I'd like to ask from the 5 of you, if 2 of you would like to sit on a committee to sit down with Gary and some staff and talk about the plan and then bring it back to the full commission.
I'm okay. I'll belly up.
All right, sounds good.
I'd be happy.
It's a
We
date.
need a woman on this.
Well, I think you have 2. Unless somebody else wants to serve, I think you have 2. 2 females. Everybody good? Okay, so we got Mayor Cotterill and Commissioner Brammer to sit on the committee. All right, Gary, thank you. Mayor, I think we can move on to the next.
Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Discussion, downtown recycling program.
So Mayor Cotterill and I met with Glenn George a few weeks ago, who's a member of the Maysville Lions Club. Glenn and the Lions Club would like to partner with the city to sponsor some recycling bins downtown in the Central Business District. They would purchase the bins, and it would be our responsibility to empty them. So I want to get your feedback on possibly doing something like that.
Why wouldn't we?
Matt?
Yes.
May I say
Oh,
something?
yes, please, and be loud.
So, I didn't know about this, but our Main Street Board, for several years has brought that up. And we've had people that have wanted to do that, and I brought it to Matt, and we've gone over it here or there. But the biggest problem, as you know, has always been who's going to collect them. But if this did go forward, I think a lot of people, especially in the downtown, would that would be a positive. You know, it's just kind of where things are now, and especially young people go, why isn't there a recycling bin? And so again, not knowing that this is ever going to be on the table, I just wanted to let you know that our board would be 100% behind that.
Where would we put them?
Well, let me ask one question first. Give me your thoughts.
I have no problem with the recycling bins coming down there, and being in the downtown. I would really like to see it, but the downside to this is are they going to be the big ones that we're going to have to manhandle to get up into the truck to dump into the trailers, or are they just going to be the small ones that are going to get kicked out in the street and blowed out in the street?
I think what we would do is work with Glenn and the Lions Club to come up with a suitable solution to that.
And you know what's going to be the limit of them? How many? You know,
I think they're only looking at maybe 3 or 4 just to see how it goes, see if it works, and then possibly in the future getting more.
And seeing what this adds to our department.
I understand.
As far as somebody devoted, is this going to have to open up? There's 92 trash cans in the city that we dump 3 days a week
Wow.
because they belong to us.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's 90. So almost now with that. Plus, if we have recycling, we're going to have to devote one full-time employee to doing that. To be devoted to doing that, and that's going to be their permanent job.
Well, I think it's something we'd have to monitor on a daily, just to see how often they would have to be emptied. You know, it may not be every day.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it would be a couple times. If it was a couple times a week, then we could work with it. But if it's going to lead into more times than that, then it's going to be, it's going to get into a full-time position.
I think a regular trend is to pair recycling with trash cans, because the risk you have is if somebody has a plastic bottle or any sort of trash or anything, they're just going to throw it in the nearest bin. So if they have trash and there's a recycling bin there, they might just throw that trash in the recycling bin. Or if they've got a piece of recycling and a trash can is the nearest thing, they're going to throw that.
And that is absolutely what we would do. We would have them paired with trash cans. Yes. Shall I continue discussions with the?
What size will these be?
I think that's something we would need to look at. You can get all kinds.
About size of a trash can? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you can get them that size. That have a hole on all 4 sides where you can throw a bottle in or whatever. I think we would work with the Lions Club on that.
It's one of those things where you try it, and if it gets.
Yeah, if it don't work, it don't work.
So do y'all have a problem if I keep working with Glenn and the Lions Club on that?
No.
Okay. All right.
Your position's turned into a full-time job.
Oh man, no kidding.
Maybe you should come in.
I should probably go work for the health department or something.
We
He wouldn't last.
We can change your hours.
He wouldn't last.
There's 7. Anything else on that? Is everybody good with that? Okay. Mayor?
She muted.
Hello?
Deborah, I think you might be muted.
She can't hear you.
Yeah, she can hear me.
Sorry.
Okay. And I don't know what you have on your agenda. No. Hey, Mayor, can,
Declaring National Preservation Month 23-25.
Okay. A resolution declaring National Preservation
Do you
Month.
hear me?
yes.
Yep.
Whereas historic preservation is an effective tool for managing growth, revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, and maintaining community character while enhancing livability. And whereas historic preservation is relevant for communities across the nation, both urban and rural, and for Americans of all ages, all walks of life, and all ethnic backgrounds. And whereas it is important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contributions made by dedicated individuals in helping to preserve the tangible aspects of the heritage that has shaped us as a people. And whereas we celebrate each May as National Preservation Month, co-sponsored by the City of Maysville, the Kentucky Heritage Council, and National Trust for Historic Preservation. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City of Maysville, Kentucky, that May 2023 is National Preservation Month and Kentucky Preservation Month.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, before you go to the next one, can I ask you to go back to the one that was scratched? Because I'd like to just briefly discuss that, because it wouldn't actually be a municipal order, it would be an ordinance.
Okay. The personnel manual changes.
Yes, and I'd like to ask Rhonda to brief you all on that.
So I put copies in your mailbox regarding the couple of policies that we would like to change.
Rhonda.
One being the,
Come up here. Oh, you got one? Okay. You're fine.
okay. The first one being the 240 sick hours that are given to employees when there's a workers' comp claim. I would like to delete that. That is not something that is customary with other cities. Basically, if there's a workers' comp claim, you receive 66 2/3 of your salary through workers' comp, and then you have to utilize either vacation or sick if you want the 33 1/3. But that is just something that, when I was at a meeting, they couldn't believe that we did that, so I'm asking that we delete it from the policy. Questions?
Any questions on that one?
So how's that work out for the employee? Is it better that way? The 66 2/3 or not?
Well, 66 2/3 is, regardless, they're gonna get payment through workers' comp.
Yeah.
But instead of using their vacation or sick themselves, they're getting basically free 240 hours that we're donating to them. And prior to me starting, there was not a stipulation that it was just a one-time occurrence. It was basically unlimited.
Do you want to roll into the next one and explain how that could help offset?
Yes, so currently, our sick policy for staff and administrative staff and police, you only get a half a day of sick leave per month for your first 2 years. And then once you start your 25th month, you get 1 day. So I'm suggesting upon hire that you get a full day of sick leave per month.
You want to mention the fire department too? how
Yes,
theirs
and
is?
then with the fire department, basically for the first 24 months, they only get 4.5 hours. From 25 to 60 months, they get 9. And then finally, at 120 months, they get 12 hours. So I'm suggesting they get 12 hours upon hire.
Is the number of sick days, is it inadequate what they're getting?
I'm sorry?
Is the number of sick days that we're giving employees right now, is that inadequate?
Well, if you think about a fire officer, they're waiting 120 months before they get 12 hours, and they have to submit, if they're off an entire shift, they have to submit 24 hours.
You have to submit 24 hours?
So they work at 24 hours.
Right,
They work
because
a
they work at
24-hour
24,
shift.
right. So they have to take 24 sick hours to take that
sick
day
day.
off. Take a sick day for them.
Does this go into effect after probationary period on new hires?
No,
Does this
no.
go into effect immediately?
Well, that's what Rhonda is saying, is proposing that it goes into effect immediately upon hire. Did you hear Commissioner McKay's?
No, I did not.
It was about probation, and if that has any effect on,
I mean, our policy now, everyone gets a week's vacation upon hire, so. I mean, I looked up different policies from City of Winchester, Nicholasville, Hopkinsville, Alexandria. They all do the 1 day of sick leave per month.
upon hire.
Correct.
And then talk to them how that correlates with taking away the 240 for the work comp.
Correct. They would no longer receive the 240 hours if they were hurt on the job.
They would be getting more sick hours earlier
Correct.
to help offset that.
Correct.
Instead of
Then they get 66 2/3% of their
of
salary.
the work comp. Right. So if
that's in
they,
addition to the sick leave, correct?
no, your sick leave is offsetting, is basically compensating that 33 1/3, so you get what you're normally paid. So what Rhonda's saying, you take away the 240 of the work comp sick hours, you start off upon hire at 8 hours per month versus 4, you're gonna be able to build up more sick time if you do have a work comp accident. Does that make sense?
And I'm gonna ask a question, but I'm not
Okay.
pointing fingers.
It's okay.
Is it abuse? Is some, can it be abused?
Well, of course it can be.
So has it been abused?
Yes, it
Yes.
has.
Okay, that's what I was looking
Yes, it
at.
has.
I
We'll
mean,
be
that's
blunt.
something
We'll
you
be
can't
blunt
work
with you.
in.
Yes, it has.
So-
Comp or the sick leave?
Yeah, it
So-
has.
For the sick leave.
So,
Hold on, Andrew. Go ahead.
go on ahead.
No, yeah, both of you.
Has
Go
the
ahead.
comp been abused or the sick leave has been abused?
Oh, sick leave gets abused. I mean, there's people, once they accumulate a day, they think they can, it's a free
So how
day
do you-
off.
How do you do that? Do you have
We
to have a-
require a doctor's excuse, and if they don't have it, they don't get
Okay.
paid.
So do we
On-
adhere to that?
Yeah.
For everybody, for every employee?
We keep an eye on it. We,
Administrative down to
Correct.
hourly.
yes, if we feel like it's abuse, then we can require a doctor's excuse.
You can require, but do you require?
It just depends on the situation. Depends on the individual if we feel like it's being abused. I can't give you any specifics at this point, but
We
yeah.
have some employees that have over 800 hours of sick leave and never abused it, but then we have some that's been here 5 years and may have 2 sick days.
But that should tell you that that's an abuse.
But
And
just
then you
because
should
we have
require,
some employees that abuse it, I mean, I feel like that we can't,
No.
take care of the rest of the employees, just.
I'm just
there's
saying,
always
if
those
you thought
issues.
that person just has been here a while and then you should require their doctor's
Right,
excuse, correct?
yeah, correct. Yeah, absolutely.
So is that in our personnel book, that can be done?
Yes, it is.
So as it stands now, it's not an entitlement to get sick time, it's entitlement up to a certain amount on the condition that they get a doctor's excuse or provide adequate proof of actual sickness, right? I mean, they don't automatically get a sick day, it's just, it's gotta be cleared with you or the department.
Correct. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Correct. That is correct. Yes.
And are people ever denied sick days?
Yes.
Yes.
Because that's what I worry about is, can the department heads tolerate this? I mean, can they tolerate, with as tight as we are on help, can they tolerate more people being gone and still get the job done?
That's what I was thinking with Dennis. I mean, in his department, it's probably more, that they don't have that much sick leave, and it's giving them more, it's probably gonna create more absenteeism.
Well, that falls back on the supervisors. They have to monitor their employees' absences, and if you don't, discipline them. I mean, can't come complaining that you don't have enough employees to do the work.
Correct.
Well, then I'm gonna suggest that our department heads monitor that, and if you think it's abuse, then they have to go to the doctor, and they can't come back to work till they do.
Absolutely.
We're not hearing from any department heads. What do you all?
Yeah.
think? What do you think of this change?
You know, the only thing I would say, being from the law enforcement side, sorry, I was stuck to the chair. With the initial, I mean, if I get hurt on a job as a law enforcement officer, I'm hurt. I mean, you just take, for instance, the officer in Louisville, been on the job 10 days, got shot in the head.
Yeah.
He ain't got no sick time. I know, and I'm not comparing, I know I'm
Yeah,
not comparing
right.
apples
Sure,
to apples,
sure.
but I'm just saying, you know, what's that gonna do for something like that? You know, I got 2 new officers starting right now. You know, I can see both sides of it. I can appreciate the getting the full 8 hours, right off the bat. But I can also see the flip side of it with if I'm hurt chasing somebody, or if I'm hurt doing my job within my policy, per my guidance and my policy and procedure, then I would want the city to take care of me because I'm doing my job.
Well, and
for
we
the city.
also have, and not
That makes
not to
sense.
counter it, it does. But we also have a donated sick leave program as well.
Right.
But all I'm saying is if you got a person who you know is abusing that policy,
You know what I'm gonna do. I'm monitoring my people well.
good for you. Keep going.
I
That's
mean,
all
you just
I'm
sit down and have a courageous conversation with them
Yeah.
and find out what's going on and
And
where I
then-
can step in to help you to put you back on the right path.
Yeah,
Because ignoring it, it's not gonna help.
exactly. That's all I'm saying. If you got an abusive person, I'm not saying I'm against this, I'm just saying I'm against abusive.
Mark?
I mean, I feel like it's my job to monitor all the employees in the utility department, and if I feel like someone's abusing the sick policy, I'll ask for an excuse or I'll deny the leave.
Good, that's the answer.
Dennis?
I feel the same way Mark does, but in the same sense too. If I have an employee that does get hurt, 66 1/3% isn't gonna, pay his bills. It's just not gonna do it. And, with the city picking up the other, the rest of it, I understand it's using his sick time. He got hurt, and I understand he's got to exhaust his sick time, but, being off on FMLA with a sick leave, he's only getting 66% of his check. It's not covering his bills. He's here to make a 40-hour week, and he's getting paid for 33. The broadside of it is, I understand what you're going through, and I really do. But the broadside of it is, they're here to work, but if you run into me, Andrew, it's not my fault I got hurt on the job, and you hit me and knocked me off from the ladder or something. It was Andrew's fault. So then we're back into law. I'm up both sides of it. I'm sitting on the fence. I'm sorry.
David?
Feel the same way on the new hires. I mean, that's I agree they need to be held accountable, but somebody new, I think it's more so Dennis's department, police, fire, and Mark's department, than maybe administrative. But I feel like the new hires, that's kind of they're looking to pay their bills and basically it would be almost impossible,
Should we think about this more? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you can, sure. We would
I
just,
understand both sides.
We don't have it ready.
yeah, we don't have it ready. We're not acting on
Okay.
anything tonight. No.
I think we need
No.
more discussion on this.
Okay. How about you do this? If you have time and you're in, sit down with Rhonda and let her explain it just one-on-one. And then if you want to get the opinion from department heads, get their opinion as well.
I mean, I see what they're saying. You got a good worker and he comes to work and somebody like Andrew knocks him off the ladder. Shame on you, Andrew. Shame on you.
So why don't you individually, let's talk about it and then we'll revisit it. Is that okay?
Yes.
Is that all right?
I think we should.
Dick?
Thanks, Dan.
Good? Okay.
I don't wanna make. a
Mayor?
decision anyway.
So now we're down to 14.
Yes, ma'am.
14.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing application for Kentucky Office of Homeland Security Funds 23-26.
A resolution of the City of Maysville, Kentucky, authorizing the mayor to make an application for and upon approval to enter into an agreement with the Kentucky Office of Homeland Security, KOHS, to execute any documents which are deemed necessary by KOHS to facilitate and administer the project and to act as the authorized correspondent for this project. This resolution also establishes a procurement policy for any KOHS approved project for the fiscal year 2023 application cycle. Whereas the City of Maysville, Mason County, Kentucky desires to make application for United States Department of Homeland Security. Hold on, I've got a bug check here. Whereas it is recognized that an application for an approval of Kentucky Office of Homeland Security funds impose certain obligations and responsibilities upon the city. Now therefore be it resolved this 13th day of April 2023 by the City of Maysville, Mason County, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute and furnish all required documentation, including a memorandum of agreement, as may be required by KOHS for the furtherance of the above referenced project, and to act as the authorized correspondent for said project. For purposes of any KOHS funded project using fiscal year 2023 funds, the city will use the provisions of KRS 45A for the purchase of equipment and or services. For any equipment and or services under $30,000, 3 quotes will be obtained. For any equipment and or services that exceed $20,000, the provisions of KRS 45A will apply.
And just to clarify, this is for the radio equipment for our towers and dispatch that we discussed at the Chief Palmer discussed about at the budget meeting.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution authorizing FEMA Port Security Grant 23-27.
Resolution authorizing FEMA Port Security Grant application. Be it resolved by the City of Maysville, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute an application for FEMA Port Security Grant. And upon receiving said grant, the mayor is further authorized and directed to execute any and all documents necessary for acceptance of said grant.
And for clarification, this is for the boat.
That's
Correct. Fire department
Yeah.
and police department, yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I
Did
did.
I have a motion
Oh,
and
yeah.
a second?
There you go.
I did.
Second.
Victor seconded.
And anybody else?
Commissioner McKay seconded, Mayor, if you can hear us.
I'm sorry?
Commissioner McKay seconded that motion.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner
Roll call,
McKay?
please.
Mayor Cottrell? I think there's a big
Yeah,
delay.
there's a gap. Mayor, she called your name. Yes, we went through it. Okay.
Ordinance amending chapter 2. Ordinance amending chapter 233, cable television, second reading, 23-03.
An ordinance amending Code of Ordinances, Chapter 233, Section 233.1 to provide for the grant of a non-exclusive franchise agreement for cable television to more than one vendor. Summary: this ordinance amends Code of Ordinances, Chapter 233, Cable Television, to provide for the granting of a non-exclusive cable television franchise to Spectrum Mid-America in addition to the existing franchise to Limestone Cablevision, Inc. It sets the terms of the franchise at 8 years, and it regulates a minimum provision for customer service.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
Okay. Seconded by Commissioner Brammer.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Ordinance amending chapter 54.02, regular meetings, second reading, 23-04.
An ordinance amending Code of Ordinances, Section 54.02 to change the regular meeting time of the fourth Thursday of the month. Summary. This ordinance amends Code of Ordinances, Section 54.02 to change the regular meeting time of the fourth Thursday of the month to 11 a.m.
For a second for discussion.
Yes, ma'am.
So now, I went back and wrote down everything we said in that meeting.
Okay.
Just so you know. So, I think what we decided upon before I vote, that this is exactly what we decided upon to do this ordinance. That we did have 2 meetings.
Mhm.
And that the second readings of ordinances would only occur at this meeting and unless something urgent came up. And the mayor had also said, and I agreed with her, that we always, you said it wouldn't be public comment. And she said, Deborah, can you hear me? Can she hear me?
Yeah.
That she
Yes,
thought
ma'am.
public comment should also be allowed at our meetings, and I agree. So if that's what we're voting on, then I'll vote on that. And if it's not, then it's a no.
It'll be on there.
Plain and simple.
Any other questions?
No, that's all I had to say. So we've already got a second of a discussion.
And
Go ahead, Mayor. You can call for a roll.
are we ready for roll call?
Yes, ma'am.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Based on what I just said, I will say yes. And if it's anything other than that, I'll change it real quick to no.
Commissioner Cartwell?
No.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Closed session pursuant to KRS 61.8101F, discussion which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee. I need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Second,
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
I'm gonna just find that.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, and a
Who did?
David wants to mention something before we adjourn.
Okay.
Motion to go back into regular session.
So we have a motion to go back.
Second.
Second
I
back,
need
second.
a motion.
Yeah, we've got it, Mayor. We got a motion and a second.
Okay, I've got one thing.
Wait, we haven't called roll yet.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
I need a motion to bring us back into session.
Okay.
Okay, by Commissioner Cartmell and second by Commissioner Wood.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner
Roll call,
Cartmell?
please.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Com-
Mr. Cartman?
Yes, I've got one more thing. We had the spaghetti dinner last Friday night, and there was a lot of opposition in us getting involved with the sheriff and the chicken fighting and all that. And I just want to say that I'm opposed to city officials taking an official position without us being notified.
Okay. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mayor, you have a motion and a second to adjourn.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartmell?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you all.